The good news is that there are more episodes of Stranger Things in 2022. It's been a long wait, but finally we'll get to see what happens next for the kids in Hawkins, Indiana, and perhaps beyond. However, the bad news is once you've watched them, and that won't take very long, if you're a binge watcher, then you'll have no more Stranger Things to watch again. And you could go back and watch all the old stuff, or you could follow me into the upside down of TV recommendations and look at shows that people who like Stranger Things will like. Are you ready to come on this journey? Hey there, Tim from Screen OD here. I hope you're doing well and having a great day. Thanks so much for tuning in. We really appreciate everyone who supports the Screen OD channel. Hopefully, we can make your day even better, especially if you are having a little bit of an itch that needs scratching on the old Stranger Things front, because there just isn't enough of it if you're a fan. Yes, we've got new episodes, but there are not very many of them. So let's find you some shows that we think that you're going to like. Before we go on that journey, just a quick reminder, if you love TV and movies, perhaps consider subscribing to the channel. Don't just do it for me, do it for you, because then you'll get all the best content of what to watch on the streaming services direct to your feed. Right, Stranger Things. There are lots of shows that have bits of Stranger Things about them. We're not going to just be finding you shows that are almost exactly the same because, well, frankly, there aren't any. But there are lots of shows that have elements of Stranger Things in them, influences that have perhaps gone into Stranger Things over the years as well. So we've got some older shows, some newer shows. Hopefully there'll be something on our list that will work for you. And we're going to start with an absolute classic, one of the godfathers perhaps of this genre of television. We're going all the way back to the early 1990s for the X-Files. An enormous phenomenon in the world of sci-fi in the 90s, the X-Files continues to be one of the most important shows of its genre, influencing so many programs that deal with areas of the unknown that have come after it. With the tagline, "The truth is out there," the show follows the adventures of FBI agents Fox Mulder, played by David Duchovny, and Dana Scully, portrayed by Gillian Anderson, as they encounter supernatural and alien forces through their work. Pitting a natural skeptic against a believer causes natural tension in the show that has plenty for Stranger Things fans to enjoy. Indeed, perhaps Mulder and Scully would be useful in Hawkins, Indiana. Maybe a crossover should be happening. Now, the next show on the list is quite different to the X-Files and has a reputation for being a little bit confusing and at times throwing curveballs into the mix. Now, if that sounds like your cup of tea, you want to be trying the OA. If you're at the more casual end of sci-fi and fantasy and enjoy Stranger Things in passing, this might not be a show for you, as it is quite intense in many ways. Created by Britt Marling, it's an intriguing story which crosses sci-fi, fantasy and mystery genres and follows the fortunes of a young woman called Prairie Johnson, who went missing 7 years before, and then when she went away she was blind, but when she returned she could see, and she was calling herself the OA. Frankly, that's just the start of things in a truly twisting story that will keep you guessing. There are definitely elements that Stranger Things fans will enjoy in this show, but you do have to give it some time. Is it light outside? No, it's nighttime, and do you know what that means? It's got dark. And the reason I did that kind of segue thing there was because the next show is called Dark. I probably could have just said that. There are immediate common themes between this German smash hit on Netflix and Stranger Things, namely the plot begins with missing children and it's set in a small town. The story centres around different generations of families living in their own times in the same place. It begins to quickly get caught up in how actions of the past begin to change the way that we live in the present and the future. Although this is much more about time and space than Stranger Things, which is obviously focused more on dimensional changes and monsters, if you like what Hawkins has to offer, you're sure to enjoy spending time in the dark. If you thought the X-Files was a classic from this genre, you ain't seen nothing yet. Well, you have seen quite a lot, because the X-Files really is a classic from this genre, but so is this next show from the pen of David Lynch. It is, of course, the iconic Twin Peaks. Now, it's hard to see how this cult classic from the 1990s can't be compared to Stranger Things, and it's also difficult for us to imagine how the events of Hawkins couldn't have in some ways been influenced by what went on in the fictional town in Washington. It follows the story of an investigation into the murder of homecoming queen Laura Palmer by FBI Special Agent Dale Cooper and Sheriff of the town Harry S. Truman. This show has all the supernatural elements you'd hope for as a Stranger Things Things fan, as well as its fair share of trademark David Lynch surrealism, humour and horror rolled in. This is a must-see if you love the work of the Duffer Brothers. Okay, we've only got a few more on our list, so this is a good time to say, why not like the video and maybe subscribe if you're enjoying what you see. Right, we've got another classic now. It's a show that continues to have fans across the world today. It's Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Buffy remains a show that many return to time and time again. Starring Sarah Michelle Gellar in the title role, you can easily draw comparisons between her character as a powerful force at the centre of a group of friends, just like Eleven is within the Hawkins gang. And while the show is about battling supernatural forces and journeys into the unknown, the friendships and the bonds between those characters in Buffy are sure to resonate with those who enjoy watching the chemistry between the kids of Hawkins, Indiana. Now, for this last entry, I'm quite pleased with this one actually. We've not only found something that is about kids and friendship, we've not only found something that is about looking for supernatural forces and trying to deal with them, and we have not only found something that is set almost in the same time period as Stranger Things, maybe a tiny bit later, but you know what? We've also found something that is set in Indiana. Who would have thought it? And it's even in the title. Here we go with our final entry on the list of things that are like Stranger Things that you should watch. It's Eerie, Indiana. Now, this is a fairly underrated early 90s series that combines many of the elements that we've talked about and is, it's got a lot of supernatural stuff happening too. It focuses primarily on the exploits of Marshall Teller, played by Omri Katz, and his best friend Simon Holmes, played by Justin Senkarau, as they attempt to solve the many eerie and supernatural issues that Indiana presents to them. Horror, sci-fi and mystery combined for 19 episodes of this series. A rare gem to entertain Stranger Things fans between seasons, perhaps. Right, so that's it for now. That's all the shows we think you should go and try out to keep you busy between seasons of Stranger Things. Hopefully there's at least a few there that you can watch on your favourite streaming services right now. Until next time, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you again very soon.